story which I wanted to tell. Mike just mentioned a lot of investments we do in the application and the client. And since we have many partners in the room, I wanted to talk about how to manage world-class solutions on Business Central SaaS Cloud. And release after the release, we invest into the most precious resource you have and we have, your time. So we want to make sure that you spend less time maintaining the systems and just make sure that the systems run smoothly. And you can see us doing investments across the board. Like just on this slide, I'm showing some of the highlights of the very latest release. And prior releases made enhancements in many, many similar areas. But in this release, we shipped even more telemetry for you to be able to monitor update process rolled out across the fleet of your customers, to maintain the insights into what customers are doing with environments, with apps, and all other elements of SaaS service. We also built a preview of Power BI app, which distills telemetry into insights that you can use from the get-go. So that is really, really exciting bit of technology that we would like to share with you as well. In the troubleshooting area, we're making it simpler to start troubleshooting the scenarios. We're bringing it closer to the users working with the system to make sure that they get started in a split second, understand where the issue may be, and pass it on to the person who can deal with the issue. We also made it extremely great and nice for partners to connect with the customers in a much more secure and transparent way. So there's a feature of the Partner Center which lets you do that in a much more better way than it used to be in the past. So many, many different improvements. In terms of AL development for developers, we built a project called AL Go for GitHub, which allows partners and developers to manage their code and set up continuous integration and continuous deployment of their code changes into online environments to make sure that the testing goes smoothly and no errors slip into production. One interesting thing with this project is that in a matter of a few minutes, you can check compatibility of your current code with the upcoming release of Business Central. Whether it's minor or major, you can see the results on a day-to-day basis and understand what needs to be changed. You can also check whether your app is still compatible with the upcoming changes from your ISV solutions, which are coming in the next release. So that is made available for you in this ALGo project. Really, really exciting development in this area. Really saves you time. But the topic which I wanted to demo you is a crossover between understanding the performance of the product and managing apps. And I know that these two subjects are at the top of your mind these days. So let me switch to the demo and wake up my machine. I'm so glad it recognizes me after 3 days of conferencing, so I'm still recognizable by my Windows hello. Hello, Windows. So here I am in a beautiful Business Central client, and the first thing I'm going to do in this demo, I'm going to click on this question mark in the upper right corner. This is one of the changes we added in the latest release. It's a context-aware help pane. So notice that as I go to another area, like a list of sales invoices, the content of this page changes, so it shows the relevant help information to the user working with this particular page. If you are a partner, you can instrument your app to add your help content and show it in exactly the same pane next to Microsoft content to help customers get started and get unlocked with different scenarios. But that's not the point of my demo. So in my particular case, I'm a customer, I'm working with this product, and I'm clicking on this button to open a sales invoice. Who can spot what's going on and what's going on wrong? You think? So that was not an optimal performance experience. Okay, so that doesn't seem right. So I want to actually start troubleshooting that. And typically, I would need to call the developer to say, hey, this takes too long, it's unacceptable. But now I can click Help and Support, scroll down, and I'm very curious user, very curious accountant, very curious clerk. So I open up a performance profiler. I mean, that's how easy we try to make this for the users to understand these scenarios. So this is the performance profiler which we introduced in the latest release. So let me just arrange the windows a little bit more neatly. So I'm going to run this side by side. And I'm going to go back to Performance Profiler and start the process. So the profiler is running, and I'm going to reproduce my scenario. So we'll go through the pain of watching this page load very, very slowly. So, reliving this experience of terrible performance. So, okay, the page is now opened, and let me stop recording this scenario and look at this. So let me just open this up a little bit more. So here's an overview of which processes, which apps were involved in this particular scenario. Now, first of all, if we take a look here, I see some of the apps here. So there's a partner app called such and such. There's another sales RS app, and there's invoice customization app. One thing which I love about this screenshot is that Business Central base application is not on it. So that executed in no time at all. All right, but I'm curious to see even more. So I go into the time spent by object, and I can see that, hey, there's some time spent by, like 10 seconds spent by this invoice customizations app. So now I know exactly which app contributed to this performance issue. Okay, so that's where my curiosity stops. That's not my area. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to download that profile which I just recorded and pass it on to my developer. And developers all love to get these type of insights from the customers, of course. So what developer is going to do, they're going to put this file into their project, and now they can see the same profile and insights, what exactly was happening, what was taking time, recorded by me, by the customer, so they can open up this long-running operation, look at this line, and magically jump into the code. So, there it is. So troubleshooting performance does not have to be difficult. Fixing performance issues, except for my case, can be tricky. But you can see that in a matter of seconds, you can record the scenario and move on and give it into the right hands of people to continue troubleshooting. Switching gears. So we're moving on to the presentation right now. And another topic which I wanted to share with you is, and that was the demo, is the disruptions happening in the businesses. There's no denial that there's ever accelerating change and pace of changes. Like we're shipping new features every now and then. There's new digital business models disrupt and reshape organizations around the world. Retail business is at the front and center of the change. So there's no denial that this is happening. And every organization needs to stay agile, needs to be able to adapt quickly, and needs to be able to automate most of the work that they do, to stay afloat, to stay in front of the competition. So let me share one of the stories we have with a company which has been on this journey through all of these changes and transformations.
For many years, the battery world was fairly steady, not a whole lot of innovation and change, at least from the recycling perspective. And several years ago, that all started to change. A lot of that has to do with these fairly significant trends happening across the economy around electrification, things like power tools, electric vehicles, electric bikes. Our old technology platform simply couldn't keep up, and we needed to make a pivot.
The recycling business is interesting because it kind of breaks normal accounting practices. Normal accounting, you sell something and then you receive money. But recycling is weird because you have these transactions where you could get something from a customer and they will pay you to take it.
Business Central is very critical to actually the nuts and bolts of what we do. Microsoft allows us to really pivot pretty seamlessly because it just seems like the technology opportunities are endless.
A typical bike mechanic knows how to change a gear and the lever and the wire and all that good stuff, but how do you handle a potentially explosive defective battery for an e-bike? We use the Power Apps portal, so we have created a way for bike shops to come onto the system, get training, and be able to figure out how to ship a defective battery back to Cultural Recycle. And we use the Power Apps portal to extend that functionality right into the floor of a bike shop.
When we first implemented this transformation, we actually didn't anticipate some of the areas that we were going to be getting into in 2021, 2022. The fact that we have an adaptable platform that's pretty easy to adjust as we need it has been super critical. I would say if you're looking for a reason to do this work, organizations like ours, seriously, we depend upon this technology so deeply.
Such a fantastic business, such a fantastic story. And you guessed it right, it's a story of Power Platform. And it's actually not the story of a Power Platform at all, alone. It's the story of Business Central, Power Platform, Dynamics 365 Sales, working together to provide this ultimate agility. And we are helping set up this connection. So we are excited to announce that our connector for the Power Platform is now GA. We shipped it in April this year. So it's ready for production. We've been refining it through several releases, and now it's globally available for all of you to start learning and using it in your production flows. Moreover, we embedded Power Automate into Business Central. So it is becoming part of Business Central DNA. You can find it on our pages. You can trigger workflows in context of the page you are in to start the workflow automation from exactly the places where you are as users. You can automate repetitive tasks. You can you can build custom workflows, and you can interact with literally hundreds of Microsoft and third-party services through this technology. I'm really looking forward to the level that you're going to take this technology to. So thank you very much, and I'm giving it back to Mike.